Okay. Did you hear that? They said my nap mic is
Yeah, I'll turn it off
on.
when
Okay.
you go live.
Okay. They'll turn it off when I go live.
They can hear us though. Like producers gotta not talk to me. They should know that. I already turned it off. Then I'll go back to it. I might not be able to get it. Yeah.
Right, so we are standing outside the Luminary Hotel in downtown Fort Myers, and Fort Myers police just taped off part of this area about 30 minutes ago. After that coyote was spotted on the balcony there, you could see it. It's frozen. It obviously looks frightened. It's been in that position for roughly over an hour now. It has not moved. Those I've talked to here are obviously just, worrying about how they plan to get it down. But I did talk to a man who works for Denison Parking. He was the one who first saw it around 10:25 a.m. and then he went to his manager, and then that's when Fort Myers police arrived just after 11. So right now there's officers keeping people back as they try to figure out how to safely trap and remove it. People here are worried about how they plan to get it out and frankly how it even got up there. So the Coyote looks scared and it has not moved much. I do want to point out that FWC just got here like 2 minutes ago as we were doing this live hit. So there's an officer who's walking over right now, but we're still trying to figure out, what those next plans are. Fort Myers police officers are walking over. We'll bring in that FWC. If you could pan over here, you could see him walking over. But obviously, the next steps would be how they're going to get it down and what that's going to look like. From those I've talked to, it's mostly people who are coming downtown to get some lunch, get some food. It doesn't seem like the hotel or anyone has had to clear out yet. There's just a lot of bystanders and people watching this thing. I had a couple of people telling me like, this only happens in Florida, or like this is just something you don't see. It's out of the ordinary. So, but a lot of people are worried, like what those next steps are going to look like. So when I talk to FWC, hopefully we could get some clarity on how they plan to remove this coyote from the hotel here. Yeah, I just saw FWC talking with Fort Myers police. So obviously there's some sort of game plan they're probably working through right now. But I'll be sure to go ahead and touch base with FWC to figure out what their next plan of action is. Yeah, FWC is here. They're bringing in more personnel. The fire department just arrived right now. We were asked to scoot back just a little across the street on Hendry Street. They're working to get more resources in. Obviously, the fire department over there, they're looking to see what's next. But so more resources are arriving at the current moment. Yeah, from what we're seeing right now, there's one FWC person I see, and he's been communicating with the Fort Myers Police Department, fire department personnel. More of them are arriving here, but I haven't been able to see what they're planning on doing next. They have asked people to move across the street here just to make more space. They're bringing in more resources. But obviously that coyote still standing there looking frightened, and he's been in that spot for, now we're coming up on a little over an hour and a half now. When I had talked to the employee earlier, he said he was just doing some maintenance, walking through the parking structure there, and that's when he ran into it and saw it, and so he kept following it, seeing where it went, and he saw it right there on the ledge. It made its way there. He was telling me that it looked like it was trying to get out of the garage, but that's the spot that it ended up in. Yes. Yeah, and then that's. Yeah, I was just saying, and that's when he went ahead and grabbed his manager, and the police arrived here. So, and it's just been standing there. I'm gonna go ahead and let me go see if I could grab some more information for you guys, and just see what the next plan of action is, because now you have FWC, Fort Myers Police, and the Fort Myers Fire Department all working together and having a conversation over there. Um, not that I could see, that I could give you a clear answer on. We are on the Bay Street side, but it seems like people have just come to stop by, and there's a larger crowd now on Bay Street here who's just watching and seeing what's going to happen next here. Yeah, sorry, I was going across the street. I'm trying to talk to FWC and stuff. Okay. Would any of you care to chat with me? No? Okay, no worries, no worries. All right, I need to go try to find someone.
I saw him take a little step back, but yeah.
Okay, now I'll have to stand right here.
Okay.
Keep it on there.
Is this live?
Yeah.
Yes. Jim.
There's cops like on that floor. There's cops on that floor. I saw them earlier. Yeah, these are like scooting closer to them.
Yeah. So what we're seeing right now is obviously that Coyote's still up there. I mean, the man I talked to earlier today says that he first saw it in the parking garage around 10:25. Then he went to his manager, and then Fort Myers police arrived just after 11. And so right now, officers are keeping people back. As you can see, the Fort Myers Fire Department is now here, and FWC looks like they worked their way into the garage area. I have contacted their PIO to get more information. That's who they directed me to, their public information officer. But I do have some people I've been chatting with, Adrian here, and so just talk to me about what time you got here and just what you're seeing now.
Oh, we just got here a couple minutes ago. We came to take a walk along the river and look for a parking spot, and we ended up right here. We thought maybe there was a fire with all the commotion, and then we see a coyote, poor coyote, standing outside the parking garage. It was a surprise.
Yeah, I mean, this is not something that you expect either, right?
No, not at all. We live actually over near Fort Lauderdale, and we have coyotes over there too. Every once in a while you see one running around in the neighborhood. They don't seem like they really hurt anybody. They're more scared of us than anything else. I feel sorry for the poor thing.
And then, I mean, for you, I mean, what questions do you have about, what comes next here?
Well, I wonder what they're going to do, if they're going to have to tranquilize it, or I don't know how they're going to get him down. It'd be interesting to see. We're not going to wait around and wait, I don't think, but I'll watch it on the news tonight.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you, Adrian. We'll be sure to get in contact with FWC here.
All right.
Yeah, and
Thank you.
of course, you have a good one. And so, Adrian, as well as some, others have been telling me just what's going to happen next, and then obviously figuring out how it got up there, why it made its way into the building. So people are worried about how they plan to get it out. And I'm still working to get some more updates from FWC here. As I mentioned, I saw 2 of their personnel walk towards the garage. So I'll work to see what other information that I could find here for you guys. Yes, the parking structure.
shelter, or is there multiple?
Good afternoon. If you are joining us on this live stream, you are watching live continuous coverage of a coyote that is stuck on a ledge of the parking structure of the Luminary Hotel in downtown Fort Myers. It's been there since just before 10:30 this morning when those first reports came in. Our reporter Damian Alvarado is also monitoring the situation with us.
Yeah, Damian, we haven't checked in with you in a few minutes. Tell us what's going on down there, especially on the ground right now as everybody's watching this.
Yeah, Chris, what we're looking at right now is a taped off scene, which Fort Myers police probably did roughly an hour and a half ago. Earlier there was a crowd of people just standing right under, looking up at it, obviously in amusement, you know, how it got up there, how it's going to come back down. I did talk to a man who works for Denison Parking, and he says he first saw that animal around 10:25 a.m., went to his manager, and then that's when the Fort Myers Police Department arrived just after 11. And so right now you can see that there's Fort Myers Police are here. The City of Fort Myers Fire Department is here, and there's a row of people along the Bay Street side over there. You have roughly, I counted, maybe 40 heads, but that just continues to change. There's some people taking photos, and those I've talked to, you know, the main question is, how does FWC plan to get this down? And quite frankly, how it even got up there. So as you can tell, I think Amanda, you said that it has that tail tucked. Another thing people are asking is just, you know, how long can it stay up there without food or water? It's roughly feels like the 80s right now, so the sun continues to keep, you know, essentially beating on it. So just a lot of worries about the well-being of that coyote. And earlier we talked to someone who said, you know, they usually see these in their neighborhood, obviously not in the downtown area, but it's interesting to see how it got up there. I did touch base with FWC moments ago before we got on live here, and they confirmed with me right now they have one officer and a couple of biologists on scene assessing the situation. So when I saw them earlier, it looked like they walked towards the parking structure, but that's all they have for me at the moment, and that's how things are looking right now.
Yeah, obviously we want to give them some space and to do the good work that they do. We have to imagine that that animal is stressed, panting, and you know, has been up there for quite some time now.
And we'll learn this probably later on as to how it got up there, but there is a very open ramp there, but you would imagine that it would have to come right down pretty much along the river and walk up that ramp. So if that's how it got up there, at some point we'll hear from somebody who knows how that part happened. But right now this big mystery is how it got there. Why is it backed out in the first place on that edge where it seems kind of frozen in time? It doesn't seem willing to take a step forward to change that situation. It's just been there.
Yeah, the coyote at this point doesn't look like he showed up with a group of friends to check into the hotel.
No.
It seems like a lone coyote.
Yeah.
So that's on the positive.
Yeah, and there's got to probably be some people in its line of sight right there who are keeping the area closed off to hotel guests to make sure that hotel guests don't get too close, because again, he's in a defensive posture and that could be dangerous to anybody who gets too close. It's also got to be part of the planning on how we bring the situation to an end right now. How do we do it safely for the coyote, and how do we do it safely for all the people who are in these various places all around it?
Yeah, these people who are very invested, who have been out there and watching. We certainly saw that crowd gather even in just the last half hour when we first came on the air at noon on TV. We've seen that crowd. Damian, do you have any idea? We initially saw a crowd of people who were watching from the roof. Have those people, were they asked to leave, or did they just sort of move on, or were they asked to leave that area for their safety?
Fort Myers Police had just asked people to take a step back when they put this caution tape up. But those that I initially spoke with, like you said, roughly an hour ago, no one really saw it until, like I said, they were coming from lunch or they were leaving the hotel, and then you just see that coyote on the ledge right there. But I think the police were just doing it because they have, from when I talked to Fort Myers Police, they have resources coming in, and so they're just trying to give enough space so that way FWC could work and figure out how to get this thing down.
All right, we've been talking with people downtown. Thanks, Damian. We'll check back with you in a little bit, too. Keep our eye on this here. We want to hear from some of the people who are witnesses to any part of this, so we have some of that we're going to play for you right now.
It's so sad. So we were just walking down the stairs. We saw people looking up, and there is a very frightened coyote. He's been there like about 30 minutes. And yeah, everyone's just staring around taking pictures because, like, what do you do when there's a coyote stuck on a ledge?
We walked across the bridge for breakfast downtown and heard something about a coyote in the Luminary while we were downtown. We assumed it was in there, so we were getting ready to walk back, and we actually see it up here. And
On the corner.
thought, okay, now we're invested. We got to watch,
Yeah, we gotta
see how this plays out.
And that's how a lot of people heard about it. The reports came in to our newsroom too that the coyote was in the hotel, which technically it is, but that creates that impression in your head that, oh my
Yes.
gosh, it might actually be in the hotel. Thankfully, that was not true. But it's been in this spot. That's the most movement we've seen, honestly, in the last half hour, right in front of us here. Been in that spot for quite some time now, which kind of begs the question, why doesn't it just move forward and leave? What is up there that is keeping it on that ledge?
Yeah, it does make you wonder if you know, it looks like it's kind of locked in eyes on something that's keeping it from jumping over. You know, Florida Fish and Wildlife has all kinds of tactics that are unfamiliar to
Yes,
us.
things they train on and that they know that we won't be privy to. Maybe we'll see some of them here as we watch this unfold this afternoon, but they'll formulate a plan based on the best interests of everyone, including the coyote, and how to resolve this safely.
Yeah, a friend of mine is an employee that does audio-visual, and of course for the hotel, and I reached out to her. Her team was blissfully unaware of it, so word is probably spreading now.
I'm sure, but the good news in this location where it is and the way they have it cordoned off, everybody in the hotel can kind of go about doing their business.
Sure.
Fine. They're not going to come into contact with this up on this parking garage. The restaurants are open. People can walk in and out. On this other corner, though, if you walk
Right.
around the corner.
Don't go to your car right now.
Yeah,
if
you
you're
probably
parked
can't get
there.
to your car in that lot. And if you walk around the corner, you're going to have kind of a show that we're all watching together here to see what happens next. It does look more intently like it's looking at something, or it has been in the last couple minutes now. Not so much anymore. But
Yeah.
yeah, the question is, how long is it going to be willing to just be there?
Uh-oh.
Wait,
Okay.
Here we go.
There we go. Up and
Wow.
over.
So now the question is, what's next?
Yeah. Damien, are you hearing anything on the ground about what just happened? We watched the coyote jump over.
Yeah, we just saw that happen with you guys too. This Fort Myers police officer was telling people by this Ella Mae's diner to step back, and then that's when we saw it jump into the garage there. I don't know where it's at now, but I'll work to figure out where it's at. It's obviously in the structure there, but it jumped as soon as the Fort Myers police officer was telling people to step back from the area, and I don't know if that's what spooked it, but we just witnessed that with you guys.
Okay, well, it's also possible that that was part of a plan that we're not seeing to get it to do something too. If they were telling people to get back, they could have known that something was happening. But again, okay, so now the question is, in that parking garage, there's a couple places it can go. Like any parking garage, it can go down the ramp and out. It can go up the ramp and end up stuck upstairs somewhere. So we'll have to see what happens next. And you would think there's some human intervention going on in that garage to kind of guide it to the place that they want it to go.
Exactly. And FWC has been on scene for about 40 minutes now. So it could have been the result of someone making a loud noise telling people to get back. It also could be that FWC has sort of laid the plan in place. We know that when they are catching wild animals like this, they will usually use smells and food to draw an animal out. I've watched a lot of bear removals where they've used marshmallows and covered them in Kool-Aid to just make it smell as sweet and enticing as possible to get an animal to come down from a tree, to move from the area where it's holed itself up. So it's possible that it was just kind of perfect timing.
Sure, and they want to tranquilize it if that's what they're doing safely so that the animal doesn't certainly fall off that ledge, or they want to be able to relocate it and have nobody be hurt. No humans, obviously, and not the animal as well. So now the big picture as we watch this building where that coyote has been for the better part of 2 hours is, where is it and what's next?
Can we zoom out a little bit and get a sense for the crowd that has gathered to see this all unfold? Do we have a lot of stunned people around, a lot of people who are perplexed, or people just given up and gone back to the bar at downtown Social House?
Right.
Okay.
It's lunchtime.
It's definitely thinned out. Yeah. The appetites and the drinks were calling.
Yep, it's lunchtime. But clearly there's going to be a lot of interest in what happens next. And, you know, they're controlling something in that hotel garage to make sure that all these folks walking around in front of Firestone that we see there, the 3-story building with the rooftop, they don't expect a coyote to come running out of that garage if those people are there. So that gives you, you know, we're inferring at this point, but that gives you a little bit of a clue about what's happening in that garage if they're not cordoning off a bigger area. You don't see anybody running through trying to get people inside for safety. All good news, but it gives you an idea that perhaps there was a plan inside that garage that, you know, either got it to move, or if it did move, here's what we're going to do and make sure it doesn't go anywhere.
Yeah, and I have a feeling we'll hear exactly what in the next few minutes. You know, if FWC is there and ready to take that animal, we'll either see it being brought out or we'll get an update very shortly, I'm sure, from a public information officer who's going to relay everything to us. So the crowd has thinned out. People have sort of given up, or they're watching Wink News inside the bar right now.
Or they're watching Wink News inside the bar right now, trying to figure out exactly what happened here. I tell you, in 23 years, this is the first. I don't believe I've ever seen a coyote on a...
Not a coyote on a ledge, on a
ledge.
hotel. We have